President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday made his first budget presentation before a joint session of the National Assembly. In presenting the 2024 appropriations bill to Parliament, the President unveiled a budget estimate of 27.5 trillion naira. Rashidat Yusuf completes the report.
Tax budget of renewed hope, President Tinubu said the estimate is predicated on a crude oil benchmark price of $77.96 per barrel, daily oil production of 1.76 million barrels per day, and an exchange rate of 750 naira to a dollar for the year 2024 fiscal year. According to the President, the 27.50 trillion budget proposed expenditure reflects the serious challenges faced by Nigeria and contains key reforms necessary to address them. Giving a breakdown of the budget, the President said 9.92 trillion naira is for non-debt recurrent expenditure, 8.25 trillion naira for debt servicing. Capital expenditure stands at 8.7 trillion naira, while the budget deficit is projected at 9.18 trillion naira. The President said the 2024 budget deficit will be financed by mainly new borrowings.
We have adopted a conservative oil price benchmark of $77.96 per barrel and daily oil production estimate of 1.78 million barrels per day. We have also adopted a naira to US dollar exchange rate of 7.50 per US dollar for 2024.
Tinubu said the 2024 budget of renewed hope was designed to address critical issues and to grow the country's economy and end its security challenges during the next fiscal year.
The 2024 appropriation has been themed Budget of Renewed Hope. The proposed budget seeks to achieve job-rich economic growth, macroeconomic stability, a better investment environment, enhanced human capital development, as well as poverty reduction and greater access to social security.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, in his remarks, commended the development plans of President Tinubu's administration for the country, saying Nigeria has never had such audacious plans since the days of the nation's founding fathers.
We need to acknowledge the specific achievements of President Bola Tinubu's administration so far. Those who doubted him initially forgot his track record as the governor of Lagos State from 1999 to the year 2007. And Lagos, of course, is Nigeria's melting pot. Nigerians strongly believe that with the debt profile of the day today, that we are a demand for the job to fix our economy.
In view of this and the related challenge of high level of public debt, the National Assembly will ensure that the 2024 budget includes concrete strategies for sustainable debt management, including measures to increase revenue and control expenditure.
The budget, which is expected to be approved and take effect in January 2024, is Nigeria's highest ever and prioritizing fiscal sustainability, economic growth, and security. Rashidat Yusuf for Trust TV News.
The Senate has announced the suspension of plenary for 2 weeks, and this is to allow lawmakers concentrate on the 2024 budget defense by ministries, agencies, and departments of government. The report.
The leader of the Senate, Bamidele Okpeyemi, who made the announcement, said the upper chamber would also sit on Friday, in addition to its usual sitting on Thursday, in order to accelerate debate on the budget. The decision is to ensure the work is concluded on the budget early enough in readiness for presidential assent before January 2024, when the budget implementation is built to commence.
Thursday, 30th, and Friday, the 1st of December, to the debate of the general principles of the budget, of the appropriation bill 2024, and after that we will adjourn, for the number of days as will be agreed, in plenary, to allow different committees take on ministries, departments, and agencies who will be coming to defend, their budget estimates.
Looking at where we are coming from, it looks promising and to some extent fulfilling if everything, all the I's will be dotted and the T's be crossed. But for me, we should go beyond this.
The president did today, I think he has rekindled hope for Nigerians, because we have never had it so good in the budget presentation where the capital expenditure has been risen to about 8 trillion. And you can see the deficit and debt servicing, though the deficit have increased, but the debt servicing have reduced. And we are also looking at the position of making the dollar about 750 instead of 700, which means we are going to get more revenue from that.
We need to have a budget that will be meaningful to the well-being of the people at the end of the day. That is what matters. It's not about 24 trillion naira or how many billions of dollars. That's not what the common man in the street wants to hear. He wants to hear how this will impact on him or her life.
We received the budget that has been tagged the budget of renewed hope. The president has submitted a budget size of 27.5 trillion, and for the first time he has also told the whole world that he has a budget whose deficit is going down and the capital spending is going up. By that, it shows that for the first time we are having a paradigm shift of what we used to have in the past to that is new, and we want to believe that this is a trend that will continue into a foreseeable future for the next 4 years, so that Nigeria can witness for the first time a government who have lessened its borrowing and also taking up its capital expenditure.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio, in his remarks, urged his colleagues to take the budget defense as a matter of national urgent importance, as it is designed to address the sufferings of the Nigerian people. Rashidat Yusuf for Trust TV News.
And reactions have continued to trail President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presentation of the 2024 budget to the Joint National Assembly. The 27.5 trillion naira fiscal document has been hailed in some quarters, with many saying it will boost the nation's economy. Here are some of the reactions.
Conduct public hearing and make sure it is consistent with national priorities and come up with a document that will now drive the economy for the year under review, 2024. More importantly, the president was able to capture very copiously the issue of national security, human capacity development, particularly the youths, the teeming youths, young men and women. I think the budget will act as a stimulus package to address the current poverty line that Nigeria has fallen into, and once again recover our economy and fertilize it for even growth.
The fresh loans, partly because some loans are maturing and they will be refinanced. And as always, you are not going to finance 27.5 trillion all with revenue. So there will be continued reliance on loans, but less so. The important thing is that the size of the deficit, the size of the budget that is being relied on from borrowing is down.
This important ritual that we witnessed today is very important for our democracy, right? You had the president come and present the budget proposal, and in line with our constitutional mandate, the National Assembly is going to scrutinize the budget, and we hope that we'll be able to pass it in the next few weeks. Some important points for you to note is that it came in good enough time for us to be able to carry out the necessary scrutiny ahead of it being passed before December 31st, because Mr. President has said, and we agree, that we should align it the financial year from January to December. So we're going to have a budget that's effective before January 1st.
About 45% debt servicing. That is not bad, except that we are borrowing more. Remember last year, debt to GDP was about 6%. Now debt to GDP is about 3%, and we have a deficit financing of about 8.7 trillion, and that means that we're going to fund that from external borrowing. I mean, it's a fairly interesting budget, and it's on infrastructure development. There are 11,886 abandoned federal government mega projects in Nigeria. Is that not worrisome? If you complete about 3 or 4 of them, like Ajaokuta, then you retain your earning, and that will reduce pressure on the foreign exchange, and that will be very nice.
It shows that for the first time, we are having a paradigm shift of what we used to have in the past to that is new, and we want to believe that this is a trend that will continue into a foreseeable future for the next 4 years, so that Nigeria can witness for the first time a government who have lessened its borrowing and also taking up its capital expenditure. So I believe it's a right step in the right direction, and I want to say that the president has also emphasized on the issue of revenue generation drive, because all that has put before us today, it's about revenue, revenue, revenue.
And gunmen have killed 7 people after reportedly attacking 2 communities in Plateau State. The victims were said to have died following attacks by assailants in Puka and Pimpa communities of Mangu local government area of the state in the early hours of Thursday. It was alleged that while 6 men and a lady were killed in Puka community, the gunmen stole sheep and other domestic animals in Pimpa community. The resident of Puka community, John Mark, confirmed the killings in Jos on Thursday. Mark, who condemned the attack, said the incident had been reported to security operatives. And the 37-year-old man, Uduak Moses Idiumo, has been sentenced to life in prison for raping 2 teenagers in Eket local government area of Akwa Ibom State. The court was told that Idiumo lured the teenagers aged 14 and 15 into his room on the premise of giving them change for the fried cow skin meat he bought from them. He was also said to have taken turns to rape them on 2 occasions and still refused to give them their change, but instead threatened to kill them if they disclosed the act to anyone. And while giving her testimony, one of the victims said they met the defendant on the road in Efoi in July of 2020 when he bought meat worth 700 naira from them and told them to either accompany him to his room to get the money or come back later. She stated that on their way home, they went back to his houses, directed them to collect their money, adding upon getting there, he insisted that they must follow him into his room, where he raped them and gave them only 350 naira instead of 700 naira. And she explained that the convict adopted the same procedure and raped them severally between July of 2020 and April of 2021 until his neighbor, a woman who noticed them on a monthly basis inside his house, reported the incident to their parents. And Justice Ifyong of the Akwa Ibom State High Court sitting in Eket said he believed the testimonies of the victims as corroborated by the confessional statement of the defendant and the medical report of evidence of forceful penetration, and therefore sentenced him to life imprisonment. The Nigerian Defense Academy has rejected over 30,000 applicants who applied as cadets of the 75th regular course of the prestigious military institution. The NDA Commandant, Major General John Ochai, who made the disclosure at the matriculation of 441 cadets into the various degree programs as members of the 75th regular course of the NDA, said the 441 cadets, including 1 allied student from the Gambia, was selected after a competitive screening exercise. He explained that the selection of just 441 cadets out of the over 30,000 applicants underscored how the Academy prioritizes competence and compliance with international best standards. Addressing the matriculating cadets, the commandant enjoined them to always remain resolute and uphold the tenet of self-discipline and resilience throughout their training. And this is Trust News Update. Still to come. Tricycle operators protest over alleged police shooting in Kaduna State. More news when we return. Do stay tuned.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty. a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to...
Since central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast. The number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Here is a recap of the major stories. President Tinubu presents 27.5 trillion naira 2024 budget of renewed hope to joint National Assembly. And gunmen kill 7 in fresh Plateau attack. And moving on, personnel of the Ogun 1 Command of the Nigeria Customs have intercepted 975 rounds of ammunition and Red Star cartridges concealed in 5 bags of rice. The acting area controller of the command, Ahmed Bello Shuaibu, disclosed this to newsmen on Wednesday at the Idiroko border access of the state. According to Shuaibu, arms and ammunition smuggling requires the concerted and collaborative efforts of law-abiding citizens of the country to checkmate, as proactive intelligence is required in the regard. He said the consequences of unchecked smuggling of arms and ammunition range from the empowerment of criminal organizations to escalating crisis and compromise of national security. Tricycle operators in Kaduna on Wednesday staged a protest against an alleged shooting of a member and 2 passengers by police operatives in the metropolis. The tricycle riders and other youths later blocked the busy Western bypass, leaving commuters stranded for several hours. Trust TV's Bello Musa reports.
Around 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, a male and female passenger with gunshot wounds were promptly taken to the hospital for treatment after being allegedly shot by police operatives. The incident reported occurred when the police operatives chased the tricycle operator from Ngormaazu, a community along the express, to Nasarawa community in an attempt to arrest him. The tricycle owner narrates how the incident happened. While I was conveying passengers, the police stopped me at Kabbalah West Junction and entered my tricycle. I asked what my offense was. The officer in question didn't respond, so I drove off with him. While in the tricycle, he attempted to apply the brakes and bring it to a halt, but I resisted. On reaching Nasarawa Bridge, a police van suddenly arrived, and in an attempt to stop me, one of them pushed the tricycle to the ground. They started beating me and took me to another location. After they brought me back to the scene, I was told that 2 people were shot. While details surrounding the shooting remain unclear, eyewitnesses said that the police involved were from the Kabbalah division in the state, who are notorious for harassing tricycle owners and other motorists.
Because this one you saw, almost every day they must come and beg the police, hey, if to say what is happening, these boys are ready to come out and we don't want it to lead to that place. Please, we should tell government to do something about it. They should caution this Kabbalah West police station.
Please, the advice I want the federal, the Kaduna State government to do, they should be very cautious about this Kabbalah police people. They have been doing this not today. I have been there with them they have been causing a serious commotion in this our area.
Police people, they have been here many times, humiliating people, dealing with people, both canapé, machine, and motors. Here is their junction. Nobody is free when you are passing. Driving in the afternoon, in the evening, they are always here.
So we call the attention of the Commissioner of Police to take a drastic issue to make sure that citizens are freely from discrimination by the security forces.
Malam Arabi is the mother of Usman Saidu, a passenger in the tricycle who was allegedly shot by the police and currently receiving treatment at a hospital in Kaduna. While expressing her anguish following the incident, she is appealing for justice to take its full course.
He left the house for work, but we were later told that the police chased the tricycle he was in because of 15 naira. When the tricycle owner refused to stop, they shot them. We were also told that he was taken to St. Gerard's Hospital. He was hot in his hand and stomach and has bled and became very weak. Although he is receiving treatment, he is however in critical condition. We are worried because we don't know what will happen next.
Security agencies had to intervene to disperse the angered tricycle operators who had blocked major roads in the vicinity, causing other road users to seek alternative routes. ASP Mansur Hassan, the State Police Command's public relations officer, confirmed the incident as well as the arrest of the policeman involved in the shooting. He informed that the road was subsequently reopened for users, adding that while the injured female passenger had been discharged, the other remained in the hospital. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And the Joint Admission and Matriculations Board, JAMB, has announced the date for the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. JAMB, in a statement on Wednesday by its spokesman, Fabian Benjamin, said the main UTME will be held from April 19 to 29, 2024. According to the statement, 7th March 2024 has been slated for the 2024 mock UTME. The statement noted that the candidates are expected to print the examination slips as of the 10th of April 2024 and also take note of these dates and other advisories issued by the board in relation to the administration of the examination. And it urged them to also visit the board's website www.jamb.gov.ng for any other information. And 2 people have lost their lives while 8 others were injured in a shooting in Jerusalem on Thursday, according to first responders. The police said 2 suspects in the shooting have been neutralized after the attack near a bus stop on the western side of Jerusalem, where there are no checkpoints guarding the entrance to the city. And 2 terrorists arrived in a car, one of them armed with an M16 and the other with a pistol, and opened fire. Jerusalem Police Chief Dordon Dodgeman told reporters at the scene. The attack came shortly after a truce pausing fighting in the Gaza Strip between Hamas and Israel was extended for a 7th day, and moments before it was due to expire. And at least 13 people were killed in a hostel fire that broke out in Kazakhstan's largest city of Almaty before sunrise on Thursday, according to the city's emergency department. The department said in a statement that preliminary reports confirmed that they died of carbon monoxide poisoning. The fire on ADI Shapirov Street, east the center of the former capital, was reported after 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday. And firefighters arrived 7 minutes later to find the basement of the 3-story residential building burning, according to the statement. The emergency department said that 72 people were staying at the hostel at the time of the fire, 59 of whom had safely evacuated, and it said the cause of the incident is under investigation. And now to sport. It was a bad day for champions of the Nigeria Premier Football League, Eyimba International, as they suffered a home defeat in the rescheduled game against Remo Stars. The People's Elephants seem to be on the ascendancy recently with back-to-back victories in the league, but they were pegged back again by visiting Sky Blue Boys, who proved too much for them at the Eyimba International Stadium in Aba on Wednesday evening. The hosts dominated the game, but it was the Wayside that got the needed goal in the 34th through Samad Kadiri. The efforts by the hosts to come back in the second half proved abortive as they lost 3 points to Remo Stars. And Arsenal powered into the Champions League last 16 as Group B winners after a 4-goal blitz in the space of 14 minutes inspired their 6-0 rout of Lens on Wednesday. Mikel Arteta's side needed 1 point to be certain of reaching the knockout stages, but they didn't settle for their target as they demolished their overmatched French opponent on a freezing night at the Emirates Stadium. Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli also netted inside the first 27 minutes. Martin Odegaard added the 5th just before the interval, and Jorginho bagged his first goal for Arsenal with a late penalty to cap their biggest win this season. With 1 game to spare, the Gunners are guaranteed to finish in first place as they sit 4 points clear of PSV Eindhoven. And the PSV clinched the second qualification place from the group thanks to Lens' loss and their win at Sevilla earlier on Wednesday. And with that, we've come to the end of News Update on Trust TV. Follow us on all the social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Chiamaka Nendu. Thank you for watching.